Hello INFJs, introverts and empaths, welcome back to my channel. Do you ever feel like you are carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders? Do you ever feel like you're constantly walking around with this heavy burden? Today we are going to explore why INFJs feel like the designated emotional baggage handlers for the
entire planet.
So pour yourself a nice cuppa, get comfy and let's get into it. I still remember the first time I felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders. I was a little girl walking through the city of Melbourne when I first came across people who were experiencing homelessness. I walked past a panhandler and I remember we locked eyes with each other. In that moment, I felt like I could see into his soul and I felt my little girl heart breaking. At the time, I didn't understand his circumstances or what led him there. I didn't understand what homelessness was, but I knew that I wanted to make his life better. I asked my mum if I could give him some money, and all I wanted to do was chat with this guy and bring a smile to his face. After that moment, I always felt the brokenness of the world, and I knew that I wanted to make a difference. As a teenager, I would wake up early before school and spend time writing in my journal and crying, asking the universe how I could make a difference in this life, how I could bring light to this darkness. This led me to university to study social sciences and landed my first job in the homelessness sector, working in both Melbourne and Canada. As a young person, I was so naive and idealistic, thinking that I could change the sector, change how services worked, and rock the system. I thought I could solve the problem of homelessness, only to discover it was much bigger than I had ever imagined. This led me to burnout and a sense of hopelessness. I remember one day coming home from work, covered in someone else's excrements, after helping yet another person who had an overdose. The burden of the world felt so heavy, and being young, I didn't yet know how to set boundaries or how not to bring the heaviness of the world home with me. Hint, you can learn boundaries and you can learn to not always carry that heaviness. What's your story, INFJs? When did you first have that moment where your eyes were opened to the brokenness of the world and you knew that you had to somehow make a difference? I know you have a story and I would love to hear it in the comments. INFJs are known for their highly developed intuition, which allows them to see patterns and connections that others might miss. This can lead to a deep understanding of the world and the people in it, but it can also make them acutely aware of the problems and injustices that exist. So imagine you're carrying a backpack and each problem of the world is a brick. Each time you see a new problem, such as homelessness, climate change, domestic violence, racism, homophobia, you're adding a brick to your backpack. Brick by brick, that backpack gets heavier. In addition, INFJs have a strong sense of empathy and compassion, which means they feel the pain and suffering of others very deeply. This can be overwhelming at times, as they may feel responsible for helping everyone they encounter. So again, add another brick. A brick for your friend going through divorce. A brick for a family member who is sick. Brick by brick, it gets heavier. Finally, INFJs are driven by an idealistic vision of the future, which can lead them to set very high standards, not only for themselves, but for everyone else. And then when they see the world falling short of these high standards that they have set, it can be very distressing and can make them feel like they need to do everything they can to make things right. Add another brick. All of these factors combine to create a unique cognitive profile for INFJs that can make them feel like they're carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. And oh boy, it can feel heavy. So heavy. However, this unique cognitive profile gives INFJs incredible strengths, such as the ability to connect with people on a deep level, a keen sense of intuition that helps them to navigate complex situations, and a strong commitment to making the world a better place. While it can feel like a challenge to feel like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, INFJs can learn to tackle problems with creativity, empathy, and a deep understanding of the human experience. By tapping into these strengths and finding ways to manage the burden they sometimes feel, INFJs can continue to make a positive impact on the world around them. So how do we tap into these strengths? How can we manage the burden that we feel? I've had to learn to stay in my own lane. I can't solve all of the world's problems, and that's okay. But I can do my own small part to make the world a better place and to bring the light into darkness. Just like you have your own unique purpose. You have your own unique way to bring light, and it's about tapping in and discovering what that is for you. Whether that's tackling environmental issues or helping within an aged care home, it's all valuable. Setting healthy boundaries is also important. You might find that you become everyone else's emotional dumping ground. That's a special position to be in, but you cannot be that person for everyone. It's important you learn what your capacity is. For example, for me as a counsellor, I know that there are only so many clients that I can see in a week. Money can never be my motivator. My motivation is to be the best counsellor I can be for others. And if that means I need to see less people, then so be it. It helps to remember my values and purpose in life. It's important to pay attention to your body and your mind for when you're carrying too much emotional baggage. This can be similar to the symptoms of introvert burnout, and you can watch a video about it here, or check out the links in my description, and I will post all of my INFJ burnout videos for you. I want to encourage you, INFJ, firstly in reminding you of the unique and beautiful way that you were designed and created. Your heart is of gold, and if you continue to work on yourself, you can help bring some light into this world. The problem can be when you become so overwhelmed and burdened by the world that you end up hiding yourself away and becoming paralyzed. We need to be our healthy selves to actually fulfill our purpose in life. And I know that can feel like a lot of pressure, but I promise you this. If you do walk in your purpose and values, you're going to feel your best self. Sometimes that might mean you need to receive some healing. I find and suspect that many INFJs have gone through some sort of trauma, which is probably why you do feel so deeply the emotions of others. But it's important that you work through some of these traumas, because if you don't, it can be very difficult for you to set healthy boundaries, learn self-care and emotional regulation, and to be able to switch off at night when you need to. This is why I'm so passionate about providing therapy for INFJs, because I see your heart, I see your light, but I also see your pains and struggles, mainly because I've walked through them too. And I found that therapy for myself was so healing and self-empowering. You might be curious as to why I think INFJs need therapy, and I talk all about it in this video. I share with you the 5 main reasons why INFJs need therapy. I would love for you to check it out and let me know what you think. But before you click through onto the video, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Okay, you can click the video now, give it a click, and I'll see you over there.